This week we actually talked about this, God, months ago. Because there have been, if you are a regular listener of the podcast, you've heard us talk about yeah, that's still amazing. We had our third episode go over 1,000 plays today, and that was amazing to see. But so whenever we do like our top 10 lists, occasionally we'll get to a song and Kevin will be like, I love this, it's a good old-fashioned murder ballad. And so we're like, let's just do an episode about murder ballads. And then I was like, well, obviously we should do it at Halloween because it just makes sense to do it then. So we wanted to do that, dedicate this week's episode to the top 10 murder ballads. It's such a, I love these songs too, because it's like when we interviewed Jamie Lynn Wilson, she talked about, she's like, well, this album, it's not me being introspective. It's, telling stories rather than it just being like my thoughts kind of thing. And I love murder ballads for that because it's like they tell the story of something that happened.
Yes.
Sometimes it is like I did this, but obviously it's not true because these contractors aren't out there murdering people.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I feel about, I love it when artists, sing songs about their life or things that they're thinking. Obviously I love all of that, but there is a certain huge chunk of, country music, especially, that is just, songs that are stories, like you said. And so the murder ballad element, I feel like it always adds an interesting piece, because murder is such an obviously crazy topic to sing about, so it just makes it that much more powerful, and it makes it interesting, and everyone loves a good, people fucking go crazy for, the documentaries about murder, so obviously songs about murder are going to be good too.
And podcasts, I listen to a lot of them about murder.
Exactly, so it's a popular topic, and so I think it's great, especially when they're well done. Like, you couldn't just come out and sing a song about, like, I killed this guy, the end. Like, okay. But exactly. All the ones that we're going to talk about are great. I love them.
Yeah, so before we get into the top 10, there's one honorable mention I wanted to mention. Just one, because it didn't make the top 10, because it's actually Kevin's top 10, because some of the songs on here were ones I had too that I had thought of off the top of my head, but I just didn't have time to go through all my music and find all the songs about murder because, as I said, I was very busy at work.
And I like murder.
The end of the month is incredibly busy for me at work, so I couldn't get through and make a list myself. But the one song I did like, it came out recently. It's not a country song because, as we said, David Nail left country with his newest album, but he had a song called The Gun.
But I don't blame you for tonight. It wasn't you I was looking for. Wrong place, I picked a fight. Instead of walking out that door, I guess it was bound to come. I just happen to have a gun. I just happen to have a gun.
And this song is so fucking awesome. Like, it's so here's that word, haunting.
I was just saying that word might be used a lot today.
Yeah, and it's because it's like this. So it's just kind of a guy who's having a bad day, and he picks a fight with just someone who comes his way, and he just goes, "Well, it's not his fault. He didn't know I had a gun." They're like, "All right, I just happen to have a gun," and it's just this awesome story about just kind of a bad day leading to this terrible crime, and So I wanted to talk about that one because it sucks. David Nail used to be one of my actually favorite country artists. I used to listen to him a lot. But he left country with this David Nail and the Well Ravens album, and it kind of sucks that he's this kind of EDM-ish sounding artist. But his voice is still fantastic. And his music is good.
He has a great singing voice, and I did like that. Is it an album or an EP?
I think it's
short,
technically
right?
an EP.
Yeah,
I think it's like 7 or 8 songs.
Yeah, but I did enjoy it. I don't, and I've said before, like, I don't really like a lot of David Nail songs that I've heard. I was clearly pointed out on Twitter that one day all of these great songs that do exist by him.
Like
so
Half Mile Hill. And
exactly.
Shit,
So I'm not going to say that he's bad at it by any means, but there was a bunch of his stuff that I wasn't a huge fan of. But for what that new one is, I do actually like the sound of it. So it's pretty good. It's not country, but I like it. I mean, you're allowed to, public service announcement, you are allowed to listen to genres that are not country.
Yeah, it's just I don't.
Exactly, and just don't call them not country. Don't call them country if they're not.
It's like how I texted you yesterday when I was in the gym. Like, I found this workout playlist on Spotify called, like, Beast Mode. It's like, I'll try it, try and find some new music to listen. Because my playlists in the gym are still, like Metallica, Linkin Park, Eminem.
Yeah.
Like, it's the old shit I've been listening to since I was 12. Like, it's that crap. And so I was like, you know what? All right, I'll throw on, like, what are people listening to today that's, like, this pump-up music that's really good, or, really good workout music. I fucking hate it. Like, how I texted you. I was like, how do people like this music? I don't get it.
It doesn't. There's a lot of it that doesn't make any sense to me. I do listen to, I would say a very small handful of modern rappers. Obviously Kendrick is a big name that people would know, and I think he's very good. But I don't listen to it that much. But I do have to say, like, in that vein of sound, it's amazing how he can do it so well, and then you can hear a modern rapper on whatever, like in a commercial or some shit. And it's just so bad. It's like, okay, it's clear that rap's having the same issue that country's having, where people are just shitty and they're getting popular, and it's like, why are you the way that you are?
I also think it was kind of like this. It wasn't like Kendrick Lamar and shit on that list. It was people I'd never heard of. Yeah. And obviously I'm very out of it when it comes to rap. There are times people are like, oh, like when Eminem got in that fight with MKG or whatever. And I'm like, MGK. I don't know. MG, whatever. Exactly. Like,
but his name is Machine Gun Kelly, so if his name was Machine Kelly Gun, it would be really dumb.
Machine Kelly Green. Like, I don't know these people, so I'm sure maybe some of these people on the list were popular people that I'd never heard of. Like, obviously, the playlist also had Notorious B.I.G. Give me the loot. Like, it had like that kind of shit, which I did recognize that, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll add this because I don't have any Notorious on my playlist. Now I do after that playlist, and I went through a couple and added some, but like, I didn't know these newer people, and some of them were just like, I couldn't understand what they were saying. Like, I guess that must be that mumble rap people talk about.
Mumble rap is terrible.
They all sound the same. Where like there were seriously 3 songs in a row on that playlist where it would be like this, like, and then it'd just be like it oh, I'm just like, is this how they all sing in every song?
They all do the exact same thing. Some song at some point got really popular, and then everyone's like, all right, this is what we're doing now, I guess.
Yeah. And so, like, even though, as we said, you can listen to whatever you want, I just don't get that shit. I listen to country, rock, and that's about it, because country speaks to me.